Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Mr. Williams.
I'm coming, Dad.
Would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It'd be my honor if you join me in prayer. Supreme Architect of the universe, we invoke thy blessing at this time. May this meeting thus be conducted in peace and closed in harmony. Amen.
Amen.
He didn't fall this way, is it? Did you all work on my
no,
chair
sir.
again?
We would not do such a thing.
You know,
We
April Fools is in April.
We was guarding it against saboteurs.
Okay, all right. Glad I've got you all on my back. Welcome, everyone, to our November 15th, 2012 public business meeting. Commissioners, are there any additions or deletions to our agenda?
No, sir.
No, sir.
I'd like to entertain a motion, gentlemen, to approve the minutes of our November 8th, 2012 public business meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On the report of President, Commissioners, I'd like to read this memo that I've written to both of you two gentlemen. This memo has to do with the capital improvement program request for the Allegany new high school. As a follow-up to the recent meeting of the Allegany County School Board held on November 13th, 2012, be advised that during that meeting I agreed to advance a formal request from the board to ours for increased funding to support the construction of the new Allegany High School. The elected Board of Education members have asked the Board of County Commissioners to consider contributing an additional $1 million toward the development of the new school. The additional monies will be for the demolition of the former Sacred Heart Hospital, with an estimate total cost $2 million. It was communicated to me by board member Jeff Metz that in the event the costs associated with the demolition exceeds $2 million, that the Board of Education would be responsible for the difference. I also agreed, and it was discussed, that any monies generated from the salvage of materials from the site would be retained by the Board of Education to go to the overall costs of this new school project. To date, Allegany County Commissioners have supported the funding plan for the construction of the new school by including the sum of $10.2 million in the county's capital improvement plan. These funds include $8.2 million of the proposed future county bond funds and $2 million previously funded and retained by the Board of Education as part of their school construction fund balance. The addition of $1 million to the county's portion of the local shares would set the county's CIP commitment of the local share at $9.2 million. This plus the Board of Education's Tuesday night vote of $1 million toward the demolition brings the total local share of both boards of education and commissioners to $12.2 million. Of course, this is subject for official action later this month. In addition, I was provided the following documents. I've attached those also, gentlemen. They are requests for approval for funding from the Board of Education to the IAC. From the formal request for the project named Allegany, the Board of Education's local share requested is estimated to be $13,466,000. I stated in the Board of Education's meeting Tuesday night, I was willing to be flexible with helping them in the demolition of the former Sacred Heart Hospital, but I needed the board to be just as flexible to keep the total cost of the new Allegany to $13.4 million. At this time, gentlemen, I am requesting that you consider amending the county's CIP to include an additional $1 million for funded needed to support the demolition needed for the development of the new Allegany County High School, and would ask you to consider this action, or consider taking formal action on this issue no later than Thursday, November 29th, 2012, during the county's public business meeting. Okay, moving right along into presentation. Item number 1 is the Allegany Girls Home.
You can read that.
Oh, I forgot that. I apologize. Also, I need to read a statement regarding the executive session held on November 8th, 2012 at 4 o'clock. The Board of County Commissioners at a meeting convened on November 8th, 2012 at 4 o'clock p.m. voted unanimously to go into executive session. The meeting time and place and the purpose of the meeting were provided in the public notice distributed on Monday, November the 5th, 2012. The notice was provided in the same manner and also to the same entities as received the notice of the Commissioners' regular business meeting held on Thursday, November the 8th, 2012. The meeting was closed in accordance with State Government Article 10-508 of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and the purpose for which the meeting was closed were as followed. Number 1, consideration of 4 separate matters pertaining to the proposal for a business or industrial organization to locate, expand, or remain within the state Government Article 10-508A4. Number 2, consultation with counsel to obtain legal advice concerning the 4 economic development matters referenced above, State Government Article 10-508A7. Those in attendance for closed session was Commissioner Michael W. McKay, Commissioner Creed V. Brody Jr., Commissioner William R. Valentine, County Attorney William M. Rudd, County Administrator David Eberly, Director of Economic and Community Development Matthew Diaz, and Cindy Young, Recording Secretary. Director of Economic and Community Development Matthew Diaz briefed the Commissioners as followed. Number 1, Mr. Diaz briefed the Commissioners concerning a local business seeking assistance from the state of Maryland to continue its operations in Allegany County. The Commissioners voted to support seeking assistance from the state for this endeavor. Number 2, Mr. Diaz briefed the Commissioners on effort to assist another local business and its expansion in Allegany County. Number 3, Mr. Diaz briefed the Commissioners on negotiations by a local business to purchase a county-owned building and assist with the development and expansion. Number 4, Mr. Diaz discussed with the Commissioners possible developments within one of the county's industrial parks to assist with either expansion of an existing business or to attract a specific business to locate a portion of its operations in Allegany County. County Attorney William Rudd provided legal advice and consultation concerning the matters discussed by Mr. Diaz. The only formal action taken by the County Commissioners at the closed session was a vote of support obtaining assistance for the state of Maryland for a business as referenced in item number 1 above. The meeting was adjourned at 4:45 p.m. Thank you, gentlemen. Now moving right into presentation. I understand that Ms. Jennifer Yonker is here from the Allegany's Girls Home to tell us what's happening off of Willowbrook Road.
Thank you, Board of Commissioners. I apologize this evening. Our CEO is to be here to speak on behalf of Sanmar Children's Home. He is assisting with relief efforts from Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey and asked me to step in this evening. But I wanted to make you aware, most of you know of the Girls Group Home here in Cumberland, and actually back in '75, the Board of Commissioners was very much showing support of the opening of the Girls Group Home. In '75, Cumberland was very concerned with not having treatment available for adolescent females, and they were being sent to inner cities and more metropolitan areas. And we've continued providing those quality services to teenage girls up through today. Our biggest change was in July of 2011. We no longer were operated through the Cumberland YMCA and became under the operations of Sanmar Children's Home. And many folks locally aren't aware of that change. Sanmar Children's Home is located in Boonesboro, Maryland, and has been in operation since the 1800s. They started off as a children's orphanage for children whose parents went off to war and were shipped around throughout the country, and so many of our children became orphans. Therefore, Sanmar's Children's Home was opened at that time. They continue today. They have several programs. They have several group homes. They do a treatment, foster care, and adoptions within the community and independent living. And July 2011, we were able to step under their umbrella and provide services, to continue to provide services here in Allegany County. So as Commissioner McKay stated, we are right off of Willowbrook Road. Our house holds up to 8 teenage girls, and all of our girls are adjudicated through the courts, through DJS, and we are in the process of beginning our contract with DHR to serve kids who are in foster care. But we service girls through all over the state of Maryland. We do take precedence over local girls because that's truly where our values lie in the opening of the group home, but we service girls from all over the state. Many of them do end up becoming residents of Allegany County. They find that the mountains aren't so scary, and they find that they want to live here. We're so close to Allegany College that we're able to tap into a lot of their services. Many of our girls who complete their GEDs or their diplomas end up going to college at AC or at Frostburg. But really just wanted to let you know of some of our changes and that we're always looking for support in our community, not just for us, but for you. Our girls do a lot of volunteer work in the community, and we're always open to doing new things within the community. We participate in the Day of Caring and Sharing. We're at the animal shelter at least weekly, so we very much so like to be part of the community. And this time of year, we're always soliciting donations for Christmas. That's one of the funds that we raise on our own to provide a Christmas for the young ladies. But wanted to share with you some of our success stories over the last year. We had a young lady who left us and went right into Job Corps and is now preparing meals at the White House. She was just featured on the Food Network. I know I like to eat. I don't watch the Food Network for that reason. But we're very proud of her, and she's remained in contact with she's remained in contact with us. She does not have family. She was a youth from Montgomery County, so we're now her parents. And when she wins awards, you know, we travel down to D.C. To represent her. We've had another young lady who has successfully completed our program, is now a local resident attending college, maintains 2 full-time jobs, which is impressive while in school, and is doing very well. So we definitely have a lot of success stories. For many of the youth and girls that we serve, we're it for them. And truly this community plays a role as family to them. They spend upwards of 10+ months with us and in your community, where they are giving back to your community, and they are wanting to become reputable citizens of your community. They attend our schools. And I just wanted to share with you some of the new things with us and welcome any questions.
Commissioners?
No questions. You do a great job.
Thank you.
Commissioners, if I may, what I encourage any citizen in Allegany County, if they can help out with this organization, either monetarily or if you own a business, and they have gotten a young lady who might be able to work in your business, be able to mentor with you and be around other adults, we welcome that. I had the opportunity of having one of these young ladies work in the dry clean for me, and it has just been a blessing. This organization is really, really wonderful, and encourage anyone who may have an opportunity for one of these young ladies to either work in their business or actually contribute, especially as Jennifer is talking about Christmas. They self-fund any kind of Christmas presents for the young ladies. You know, at the end of the day, I forget who wrote the saying or who what, but it's not how many houses we had, it's not how many cars we had, it's not all the stuff that we had in life, it's what we meant in the difference of some youth. It's more been talked about children, but more especially these young ladies. These young ladies need adults to mentor them. They need the opportunity. So commissioners, if you know somebody, please let them know. If anybody's interested in making a donation, please do. And Jennifer, how do we get a hold of you? How do we reach you?
You may reach me at the group home by phone, and that phone number is 301-777-8262.
Okay.
And I'm extension 5, and anybody should be able to help you. And definitely, Mr. McKay, thank you very much for your support of our group home. We've really appreciated your support of us and our young ladies, and it's definitely made a difference in their lives, and I appreciate that. And just a quick story about Christmas. We had a young lady who came to us from Baltimore City who ended up getting involved in a gang at the age of 11. Both of her parents became incarcerated, so the gang raised her until she was 15, and then she came to us. She was quite challenging. We ended up having her there for a year and a half, and she is successful. She works in a hospital. She doesn't associate with a gang. And her first Christmas with us, because she was there for 2 Christmases, she cried as we put up the Christmas tree that year. And I wasn't sure what was going on with her, and she started to act out, started to see all kinds of negative behaviors. And later that evening, I pulled her to a side, and I asked her, you know, there was something with that Christmas tree, because you were fine until we pulled out the Christmas tree. And she said, the only Christmas tree I ever had was one I drew on a paper, and I hung it up on my wall. And she said, and I got beat that night, and it got tore down because I hung up that Christmas tree. That Christmas was an extremely powerful Christmas for her, to know that I'm not blood to her, and the community that provided a Christmas for her was not blood to her. And her question to me was, why? Why did they give to us for Christmas? Because they know these Christmas presents come from our community. And I said, they care. You know, these people genuinely care about what becomes of you. She had a very difficult time accepting that you all, the community here, cares about them, and you don't know her. So your interactions with our girls is extremely powerful and has everlasting, meaningful experiences for them. So thank you.
Okay. Jennifer, what would the mailing address be for the group?
Sure. Our mailing address is P.O. Box 166, and that's Cumberland, Maryland, 21502.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Commissioners, item number 2 is a public hearing. It is about the proposed amendments to the 2011 Allegany County Water and Sewage Plan. Understand that Mr. DeWitt, Department of Public Works, is here. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Evening.
Thanks for the chance to be here speaking regarding our amendments to the water and sewerage plan. I'll give you a fair warning. What I'm going to go through here is confusing. I got confused when I was typing it up this afternoon, but I'll try my best to be straightforward and get to the point. I'm here this evening to hold a public hearing to accept comments and questions on our proposed amendments to the 2011 County Water and Sewerage Plan. I'll begin with some background on why these amendments are necessary and how we got to this point. We began the process for the original plan back in April of 2010. The 2011 plan, the original version, was adopted just over a year ago by you all back in October of 2011. In March of this past year, previous plan coordinator Elizabeth Stallman took a new position with the city of Frostburg, and since then I've done my best to step into what she had done and make sure that this amendment cycle was done correctly in accordance with COMAR, and I think we're on the right track. And also want to thank Elizabeth for putting together a document that was something I could just step into and not have to really scratch my head and figure out what was going on. It's been a good transition. This got started back in August. We received notification from Maryland Environmental Service that they needed a revision to our plan because they were planning to do some upgrades to the water treatment and wastewater treatment facilities at Rocky Gap in conjunction with the plan development in that area. So at that time, we extended an email out to our stakeholder group, which is municipalities and utilities and private companies and anyone that had a say in the initial plan, just to see if anybody had things coming up that needed to be added into the document. A lot of funding agencies require a project to be included in our water and sewer plan before they'll provide funding. So we extended that opportunity to everybody. COMAR has a requirement that the plan is reviewed annually and amendments are made as necessary. So we took this opportunity to go ahead and do that. We sent an email out. We received only minor changes, nothing alarming, just a small list of projects. The specific details of all those, I put a list together. It's up here on the front table if anybody would like to see it. It's also on our website. Right on the front page, there's a link to the proposed changes as well as the revised plan itself. COMAR also requires that we consult a local planning agency for any updated plan or amendments to the plan. So we presented our changes to Planning and Zoning Commission on September 19th in a preliminary form, and also again on October 24th. Following that time, we learned of a new project and also a minor formatting issue we had to add back into the new plan. It required basically a new change, and because of that, we need to brief the Planning and Zoning Commission again at the end of this month. But that's just trying to make sure we're following COMAR and not going to get into any issues with that. But we sent notice of our public hearing to Department of the Environment, Department of Planning, and Department of Natural Resources. We made our plan available on the website, advertised our hearing in the newspaper in accordance with state law. And the purpose of tonight's hearing is to accept comments and questions about the amendments from the public. We'll accept comments and questions until November 27th at 4:00 p.m. And then upon hearing and addressing any of those comments on the proposed amendments, we're tentatively hoping to ask you all for a resolution to pass the amendments into the plan at the November 29th public business meeting, which will be following our presentation the day before to Planning and Zoning Commission. I do want to make a comment regarding the scope of what we did with this annual plan review. We're aware that there's some outdated information in the plan. We started putting it together back in 2010, so some of the projects have been finished. Some of the fees and the rates in there are old and have since changed. The intent of this revision cycle wasn't to adopt or to change the entire plan line by line in the 200-page document that it is. That'll happen every 3 years. That's the intent. What we wanted to do now is to make sure there weren't any projects coming down the line that had been developed since the last time we sought information from everyone that might run into a hurdle and not be able to get funding. So as far as we know right now, all the projects that need to be in the plan are in the plan. We evaluated all of them to make sure they met the right criteria in terms of location and scheduling. And looking ahead, we'll go through this process again next fall as required by COMAR to add any new amendments in next fall of 2013, and then the comprehensive review where we go through it line by line and make sure that it's a good working document for us will occur in 2014. So at this time, I'd like to open the hearing for questions and comments regarding the proposed amendments. How we'll do this is we'll just simply be taking input at this time from the public, and any answers or clarifications can be provided after the fact, but prior to the passage of the resolution on November 29th. So if anyone has any questions.
Looks like we have no one that's signed up to make comments. Did anyone not have an opportunity?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Are you speaking as private citizens?
Yeah, I was going to say, you stole my line from me. You stole my line. You have to announce yourself as private citizen first.
I'm both. First, Dan volunteered for this. When the water and sewer plan, when Elizabeth filled out, there was a gap there, and Dan stepped forward. He stepped forward on a couple other things, our TMDL, and I think Dan's happy to be with Allegany County, and we're very lucky to have Dan. He's wise beyond his years, and we appreciate the hard work he's done for us. The other thing is this document is a very important document because it plans our future for water and sewer. It not only tells us what we have, but it tells us where we want to go. And more importantly, we can never fund a project through the state or federal government unless that project is in this plan. So it's not just a document. It sits on the wall. It's very important. But again, Dan's did a great job with this, and he's in good hands. So thank you.
How much do you have to say that, Dan?
Too much.
Commissioner Brody, any comments?
No, sir.
Mr.
Good.
Valentine?
I appreciate all the work you've done on this, Dan, and this
Thank
is
you.
a very important document to us, so thanks again.
Okay. Tells me that. Okay, we'll have this public hearing closed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, item number 3. We are going to have our county attorney talk to us tonight. And this happens to be with the Manufacturer's Tax Exemption AES Warrior Run Limited Partnership.
Thank you.
Do you want me to cover for you?
No,
or-
that's fine.
Oh, you, okay.
It's the 5 and 5 in effect.
Yes, it is.
2 and 2.
All right. The motion asks to grant an exemption for AES Warrior Run for $2.641 million and change, and minus $50,000 exempt. It's for 10 years. When the county eliminated the manufacturer's tax a number of years ago, one exception was power plants. State law required it. It's in there. So we do grant an exemption to them. And of course, the amount that's being granted is based on new capital investment that they've made. That's the basis of the exemption. So it's fairly routine, but it is important. They have spent $2.6 million, so that's significant.
Okay. Well, County Commissioners, I'm going to move that we approve the manufacturer tax exemption for the equipment purchase in 2011 by AES Warrior Run Limited Partnership. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine.
There you go.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Gotta mix it up now. Item number 4 is the legislative day, establishing Thursday, November 29th, 2012 as a legislative day for the county commissioners, and place the appropriate legal advertisement into the Cumberland Times News on November 16th, 2012. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Eberly, what do we have on our consent agenda today, sir?
Commissioners, consistent with the past few weeks, we have a very light consent agenda, and it refers to a board appointment for the Social Services Board.
I'd like to entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Eberly.
Commissioners, 2 items real quick. As a follow-up to your presentation at the beginning of the meeting today, the Board of Education is obligated to submit documents to the state of Maryland concerning capital improvement planning. And Dr. Lever had anticipated or actually requested local boards across the state to have those requests officiated to his office no later than the 28th of November. Our meeting isn't until the 29th. Either I or our staff will give Dr. Lever a call and let him know that he can expect to get some resolution with respect to our CIP decision as early as we can possibly get it to him, probably on the 29th or the 30th.
Okay, well, please convey to him that we did not receive that until
I'll do that.
The board's meeting on Tuesday, because they had not approved it as of yet.
Okay.
So,
Commissioners, and secondly, we had scheduled a public meeting in LaVale with the State Highway Administration to discuss the streetscape opportunity for that community. And unfortunately, Hurricane Sandy preempted that meeting from taking place. And as you're aware, it was scheduled for October the 30th. We are now trying to schedule that meeting for Monday, December the 10th. I don't believe we've had formal confirmation back from the volunteer fire company in LaVale yet. We hope to be getting that real soon. And as soon as we can schedule that meeting, there will be formal public announcement to follow.
okay.
That's all I have.
I'm sure, like a tweet, Mr. Rudd, you've spent all your characters of what you can speak tonight. So, okay. Thank you for attending,
No, you're
sir.
welcome.
Commissioner Valentine.
Okay, I'd just like to go back to the county's water and sewer plan. There was an article in today's Times News about this plan, And I think the writers of that article need to get a little clarification on a few things. That article stated the plan seems to be at odds with recent statements and actions of county commissioners who have hired a law firm to challenge the state's smart growth policies. That is not a very factual statement. What we are challenging is the state's method of cleaning up the Chesapeake Bay. We want to make sure that the taxpayer dollar that's going into that cleanup is getting the desired results. It really has almost nothing at all to do with the state smart growth programs. The state is under a consent order from the federal government to clean up the Chesapeake Bay. Whenever you look at state smart growth, Allegany County is the poster child for smart growth. Smart growth wants to maintain green space. 78% of our county is forested. We have not created major subdivisions outside of PFAs. A huge majority of our population lives inside of PFAs. So when this plan starts out by saying Allegany County embraces the concepts of smart growth and sustainability, we do. We fully support those efforts. It's two entirely different issues between smart growth, bay cleanup. We have just joined with numerous other counties and municipalities to challenge the way the state is going about it, the expense that they're putting on the counties, the unfunded mandates, of course, that always get passed along to the counties. So those are two entirely different issues.
Commissioner Brody.
Wow. I'm just going to do a brief rundown of the calendar for the week. And again, I'm not going to hit on all these things. Everything on the calendar is always listed online. But we'll start with Friday, November 9th, Maryland Association of Counties Board meeting. Saturday, November 10th, United States Marine Corps 237th birthday. Eagle Scout ceremony. Sunday, November 11th, Veterans Day ceremony at Rocky Gap. Fantastic day and a fantastic turnout. Monday, November 12th, Veterans Day observance. Marcellus Shale Safe Drilling Advisory Commission meeting. Tuesday, the 13th, Board of Education meeting. Social Services Board of Directors meeting. Wednesday, the 14th, Chamber of Commerce Legislative Committee meeting. Western Maryland Area Health Center meeting. South Cumberland Business and Civic Association meeting. Thursday, November 15th, Potomac Edison Energy Workshop and the County Commissioners Public Meeting.
One clarification on that, the Monday Marcellus Shale issue, it was not a public meeting. It was quite an amazing 3.5-hour conference call speaking about legislative issues. And believe me, a 3.5-hour conference call with about 12 people participating is not a real good way to conduct a meeting. In fact, after 3.5 hours, we're going to continue the conversation. I believe it's this Monday for another hour, hour and a half on another conference call.
Okay. Ms. Linda, is there anyone that signed up? No? Okay. Thank you very much. I'd like to remind everyone of our upcoming meetings. Our next public business meeting will be November 29th, 2012, 5 o'clock in room 100. I'd like to remind everyone about Thanksgiving with the Allegany County government schedule. Please see. Announcement of the Allegany County compost site winter hours begin, and the announcement of the Allegany County Salary Study Commission public meeting Wednesday, November the 28th, 2012 at 3:30 p.m. Is that in room 212 or?
It depends.
It depends. They'll somewhere here.
Typically, it's 100, but I mean 212, but it depends on whether the election board's done with that room or not.
Okay.
Or
All right.
Maybe 408.
Okay. Okay. Just come to this building. How about that?
There you go.
We'll direct you in the right direction. So, before we close, next week will be Thanksgiving. I hope everyone spends some time with their family, reflecting upon all the blessings that the good Lord has afforded us. I normally close the meeting with thank you for participating in your government, but with it being Thanksgiving, I'd like to end it with God save America. Good night.